Hi, my name is Doug Myra, and you probably see the songbook of Hank Snow I got when I was young. I want to tell you a story about Hank Snow when I was 8 years old. When I was 8 years old, my father went overseas in the Army, and he took my mother, my sister, and I to live in Riverport, Nova Scotia. Riverport's between Lunenburg and Bridgewater. He took us there because his mother and two sisters lived there. In the year I was 8 years old, I woke up one morning in the house we lived in and looked across the field. And there, in the next door neighbor's place, were a lot of trucks and everything else. So I walked over. When I walked over, there was a car that said Hank Snow, the Yodeling Ranger. So I walked up, and a boy came out and said hi, and I said hi. We introduced ourselves. He was Jimmy Rogers Snow. We became friends, and he said, we're going down to the field where the show was going to be this Friday and Saturday night. Come on with us. So I hopped in their car. I hopped into Hank Snow's car. Hank was driving, his wife was there, and Jimmy and I sat in the hind seat. Well, we arrived there and they were setting it up, and it wasn't a tent. It was just posts with a lot of canvas around it to form a place where people could go inside. This was in a field in Riverport next to Jenny Garrett's house, and Jenny Garrett was my school teacher. So anyway, Jimmy's job was to look after Hank Snow's horse, and the horse he had at that time was Silver Star, a white horse. He would ride into the arena when the show started. It was fun. I watched it, and Jimmy and I became good friends. Next day, we went through the same routine. And that night, when they drove us back to our house and where he was staying, he said, will you lend me 50 cents? And I said, well, if I have it. So I went home and emptied my piggy bank. I only had 30 cents. So I took it back across the field and said, here you are. Jimmy said, I'll pay you back tomorrow morning when I get my allowance. So anyway, tomorrow morning came. I guess I was tired because I slept in, and my mother said, Dougie, wake up, wake up. So I woke up and went downstairs. I looked out the window, and the Hank Snow show and everything else was gone. So I started to cry, a little 8-year-old boy crying. My mother hugged me and said, well, Dougie, they may come back next year. And I didn't tell her, but I wasn't crying about him coming back. I was crying about the 30 cents I lost.